Oh my god, my hair's a disaster. What is going on? What is happening, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. As you can tell by the title, I want to talk about some bigger things today. And I've been doing a lot of thinking about this video and exactly kind of how I want to talk about it. I've been trying to figure out if I should even sort of bring this up, if the idea of what I want to talk about today is something that I should address on YouTube, and I think I just should. I should just kind of be upfront and honest with you guys. There's the cat there. But I'm going to have some footage playing in the background here while I talk about this. But what I essentially want to talk about is the future of this channel and what I think fits my personality in terms of creating content for this game. Primarily, that's going to revolve around, like, what specs and classes in World of Warcraft am I going to cover? And how wide am I going to go versus kind of how vertical am I going to go in terms of my covers. So let's jump into the footage and let me just start getting into all of this. Right, so this is going to play in the background, and what I basically want to talk about is when I entered this expansion, I told you guys that I was switching to Shadow Priest as my main character, and that's what I've done. And I played Shadow Priest, and I've loved it, and I've really, really enjoyed it a lot. I think the whole idea of a main character that I'm going to play in Dragonflight, in World of Warcraft in general, is something that doesn't really fit my personality. It's just not how I'm built. And if you look at most of the channels on YouTube that cover World of Warcraft, they focus on one particular thing, right? They focus on Prot Warrior, or it's, Survival Hunter, or not Survival. Nobody covers Survival Hunter. It's like Marksman Hunter, or it's Waves. Waves WoW does like Enhancement Shaman stuff in PvE. Tickle, if you guys have ever watched Tickle, he does Enhancement Shaman and Ellie Shaman stuff in PvP specifically. That's like 99% of his content. He sticks to that one thing. I have done a lot of Enhancement Shaman stuff, but over the course of even the last year in Shadowlands, I covered a lot of other specs. I covered Survival Hunter. I've covered Ellie Shaman, Enhancement Shaman. I covered a little bit of Feral Druid, even when it was bad. And I think, like, for me and my personality type, I just am not the kind of person that's going to play one thing for an entire expansion and min-max it and go full vertical with it, where I'm just maxing out that character and doing nothing else. I can't play the game like that. I just can't. It drives me insane. It bores me to death. I can't do it. So what I am able to do, what I love doing in this game, what I enjoy more than anything is multi-classing, multi-specking. And so that is something that I'm going to begin doing on this channel more regularly and with more purpose and more intent behind it. That's why I'm kind of like making this video, to talk about the fact that I'm going to be doing this. And it might sound like really silly. It's like, well, Zuko, just like, who cares what you're playing? But I care, and I know that you guys care. I know that some of you guys in the comments have been like, I really want you to cover this. Can you please cover this? Can you cover enhancements? Can you do an Ellie Shaman build? Can you do a single target build? Can you do this and that? And I think for me, I'm actually pausing in the footage here. Don't worry, it's not glitching. For me, it's something that I'm like, yeah, I want to go do that. I'm really drawn to this idea of helping people understand classes and specs of all kinds of different varieties, not just whatever main I happen to be playing at the time. So with that being said, let me give you a couple reasons why I think I'm kind of built this way. I love the challenge of playing a new spec and a new class and mastering a spec that I haven't played in a while or has massive changes. So going into Dragonflight, there were massive changes to the talent trees. There were massive changes to how the specs played in general. So even my Enhancement Shaman, for example, has changed dramatically. Ellie Shaman has changed dramatically. And then all the ones that I'm going to show footage of here in these clips here have all changed dramatically as well with the new talent tree system. So Survival Hunter, Feral Druid, these are some of the ones that I'm going to be picking up. I'll talk about that in a second. But I love this challenge of it being new and theory crafting and figuring out how to make it work in the new system. I love that. It's like maybe the best part of the game for me is sitting down and running through dungeons, running through raids, and looking at builds and being like, how can I improve this? How can I fix this? How do I make this better? How do I make this work? Those are things that I just like, I can't get enough of that. And I know that the majority of the players nowadays just go to a website and have the website tell them exactly what they need to do to make their character work. And I'm not judging any of you guys who appreciate that and like to do that. Lots of people don't have the time or the effort to put into figuring out exactly what build they're supposed to run for Mythic Plus on Survival Hunter. Like, they just don't have the time to do that. So all the power to you. Go and get a program to do that for you. For me, personally, that's my favorite part of the game. And so for me to just like, this is why I love playing different classes at different specs and not just going and looking it up on a database somewhere. I want to get in there and get my feet wet and actually try it out for myself and see what works and get the muscle memory down and just figure it out. And if I don't get to do that, I don't like playing this game. That's the bottom line. So that's why, you know, for raid nights, haven't researched the bosses very much. On our first go through on Vault of the Incarnates, I haven't really done a lot of research on the boss fights, just because like I just want to experience it for the first time. And I feel like some people in the community, I think, have lost that. They've lost that old school kind of feeling of like, this is the first time we're in this raid and we're just all experiencing it for the first time together, and you're kind of getting your feet wet together. It's a fun feeling. I really enjoy that. So for me, I love the challenge of playing multiple classes and multiple specs. I love the challenge of figuring out the builds that I want to run and having them be mine and my own. Something like the Death Speaker build for Shadow Priest, let's say, which I've been really loving in Mythic Plus. And I just love that challenge in general. I love the ability to do that, and I love making content about that. So there's going to be content that's going to be covering multiple different specs and multiple different classes now, and I'm going to tell you what they are. Survival Hunter is going to be one of them. I just got this guy to level 70, and I just running some normal dungeons, getting some gear. I'm going to be running Feral Druid. I'm going to be running Enhancement Shaman, Ellie Shaman. I'm going to be running my Holy Paladin as a healer, and I'm going to run Shadow Priest as a DPS. I'm probably going to be doing Holy Priest as well and do some guides on how to do Holy Priest as well, because I've already done some Holy Priest stuff. But for right now, those are the specs I'm going to be covering. Why am I going to be covering them? I love Survival Hunter and Feral Druid so much. I actually liked Feral Druid in Shadowlands, but it had the problem of the old talent trees and really had a really rough go with like energy management. And I like hated playing it because like you would try to do a combo with your Feral Druid and it was like you're at 0 energy just like immediately after pressing 2 buttons, and it felt really oppressive to try and get anything done. Survival Hunter had other problems where you wanted to take talents like Butchery, but you couldn't because they competed with better talents on the talent row. Again, those problems don't exist anymore because we've solved them with the new talent tree system. So Holy Paladin, as you can see in the footage here, I am loving Holy Paladin. I love that we get to do Blessing of Summer still. I love that there's a chance to proc Avenging Crusader, which again didn't exist with the old system but does exist now with the new system. You can have your Awakening proc Avenging Crusader. I love having to master a healer that has a kick now and has stuff like Blessing of Freedom, Blessing of Protection, Blessing of Sacrifice. How do I do damage as a Holy Paladin while still keeping everybody topped up? These are challenges that I need in my life, guys. I need to be able to like jump on these tunes and try to figure out how to make them work. Really what makes them tick, what makes them successful. And if I can do that, it makes me a much more satisfied player, and it'll make me a better content creator as well. I'm going to be really motivated to make content about all these different specs and classes versus making content for the next like 6 months to a year to 2 years about just Shadow Priest or just Enhancement Shaman. If I had to do that, I would literally lose my mind and I would have to pack up shop. It would like, it's just not okay for me to have that kind of an experience. So yeah, I'll get to the other specs in a second as they pop up on the screen, but I just want to go over a couple of other notes. I think one question that you guys might have immediately is like, well, what about pushing higher keys? Because this is the potential negative side effect of the decision that I'm making here is I'm not going as vertically deep on one class, but I'm going like horizontally wide with multiple classes. So if I spend time getting multiple classes geared up, that means I can't go as deep on one character, and that is true. That is true. It's less true in Dragonflight than it's ever been before because of the way the talent system works and the fact that we don't have to go get a legendary and go get some essences from BFA and go farm materials to get a legendary and then like upgrade the legendary with a higher item level and use all the money all the gold you've ever earned in World of Warcraft ever gets pumped into these legendaries that we had to buy for Shadowlands. And if you can't tell, I have PTSD about that. That doesn't exist anymore. All you have to do is get to level 70 and get some gear, and gearing has never been easier. Like, once you hit level 70, there's all the elemental storms kicking around, and there's crafted gear. Like, on my Survival Hunter right now, I hit 70 this morning, and I immediately had 4 pieces of level 70 crafted gear ready to go, and I gained like 10 or 15 item levels just literally right away. So, I don't think that it's going to be a problem actually having multiple characters in this expansion because of the ability, like because of the you don't have a need to like go farm all these mats and get legendaries upgrades. You just have to go get gear. So Ellie Shaman is another one that I'm very excited about with the Wildfire build that I just put out a couple days ago. I haven't even really explored Ellie Shaman that much. I've just been gearing up my Enhancement Shaman, but, you know, I've also been getting gear for Ellie as well. So I'm going to be trying Ellie in dungeons moving forward in the next week or so. And I'm going to be exploring actually some lightning builds because it's very clear to me that the fire build actually works quite well. And I want to answer the question of, like, is there still a solid lightning build that you can do that incorporates either double Stormkeeper or Stormkeeper and lightning? Or look at the lava beams going off there, man. This thing is so much fun to play. If you haven't played Ellie Shaman with the Wildfire build, you're missing out. It's ridiculous how fun this thing is to play. It just does so much damage. But I do want to explore other builds. Again, that challenge for me, guys, is like, what other builds exist? Is there a lightning build that works really well in Mythic Plus for Ellie Shaman? We're going to explore that as well. There's some Enhancement Shaman footage here that I'll talk about, or I'm going to talk about something else in a second, but Enhancement Shaman is still in a wonderful place, and it's doing tons and tons of damage. But just back really quickly to that question about what does this mean in terms of the maximum amount of content that I'm going to be doing. I'm still going to be doing keys and raiding on my main, which is Shadow Priest, and I am certainly not going to be pushing the highest level of keys when everybody else who's only playing one character is pushing the highest level of keys. So right now, there's people who are playing like one character and they're pumping like plus 22 keys up to like, I think plus 25s are being done as well, which is absolutely ridiculous. The highest keys that I've done so far on my Shadow Priest are like 16. That's still like a respectable key level. It is like my rating on my Shadow Priest is almost 2,000. I've almost got Keystone Master already, and we're like 4 or 5 weeks into the expansion. Like, I'm almost there already, guys. So I'm not like miles behind by any means. And I think that's sometimes the impression that people get when I say stuff like this, where I'm like, you know what, I have my main character, but I'm not playing it like 24/7, and they're like, well, you're just gonna fall behind, and then like you're not gonna be able to do any of like the high keys. And it's like, I'm doing 15, 16, 17s right now. Those are really, really good. My item level is like 412 or 415, I think, right now on the Shadow Priest. So he's still my main character. He's still going to be the highest geared character, very likely. It's just that I'm not going to be producing content on the Shadow Priest every single day. And I'm not going to be doing like plus 22s and plus 25s right now. The other contributing factor to why I can't do the highest level of content in the game right now is because I don't have a group that can do it with me. And I'm not slighting anybody who plays with me, but like getting a group together consistently of 5 people who can run Mythic Plus dungeons at the same time every night or every week, and they're super high performing players. I'm not even a super high performing player. So like, to find 4 other people who are super gigachads at the game and can play at the exact same time as when I want to play, that's a difficult ask. Like, it really is, actually. That's a really difficult thing to find. And it's not just, like, as easy as, like, oh, just go do your plus 20 for the week. It's like, pugging a plus 20 is literally impossible at this point. And otherwise, it's like, getting a group together to do it consistently can be very difficult. So, that's the other thing that's really deterring me from taking one character and going super vertical versus taking all these other characters and going a little bit more horizontal. So what can you expect in terms of the content that's going to be coming out of me? I'm going to be doing I'm going to be doing videos on all these different specs. I've got Pharaoh Druid, Enhancement Shaman, Ellie Shaman, Shadow Priest, Holy Paladin, and then whatever the first one was that I did at the very beginning of the video. What was it? I can't remember. Oh, I'm going to be doing some Rep Paladin as well. I can't even remember. What is it? Shadow Priest. Yeah, we know Shadow Priest. Oh, yeah, Survival Hunter. Survival Hunter. I got it. Don't worry, guys. So those are the ones I'm going to be covering. And the reason is because I love all of those specs. I actually love the way that Rep Paladin does damage, and Pharaoh Druid, and Survival Hunter, and Enhancement Shaman, and Shadow Priest, and Ellie Shaman. I love how they do damage, and I'm excited to play them. And that's really why that's one big reason why I want to do it. I want to play these because I'm excited to play them. And I'm going to be doing videos on all of these different specs moving forward, and that should basically cover us for many, many months. I'm also excited for the buffs that are coming up for a lot of these specs. That's going to be really good as well. But that's what the future of this channel is going to look like. It's going to look like multiple different specs being covered in any given week. And I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to structure it, if I'm going to pick like 1 week and just do Feral Druid for that week and then do Ret Paladin the next week. Like, I think likely I'm going to be mixing it up all the time to kind of keep you guys on your toes. So be ready for that. That's what the content is going to look like. It's not just going to be focused on 1 or 2 characters max. It's going to be focused on like 7 different specs that I'm going to be trying to gear up and level and do content for. Now, that means that I'm not going to be pushing plus 22 dungeons, but I will be doing respectable keys for you guys, and I'm going to try to make sure that I'm bringing you content that is respectable, at least for the level that you're at, you know, where we're all kind of at right now. So what does that mean right now? It means that I'm going to try to get all my characters that are low gear right now geared up so they can do at least plus 10s. Right now, in terms of Mythic Plus, I'm going to try to be doing plus 10s, and then Heroic Raid content is what I'm going to be giving you as well. I'm not going to be doing Mythic Raid content probably at all in this expansion, at least right now. So that's the plan moving forward, and those are my big reasons why. It's just the kind of player that I am, guys. I'm just not a one-trick pony. Like, I love to explore multiple builds, multiple classes, multiple specs, and I love to bring that to you guys. And one comment that I've seen so many times over the course of my, you know, last year and a half doing this is people being like, thank you, Zuko, thank you so much for, like, this build guide that you put out on the Trinity build for Enhancement Shaman. Like, I didn't quite understand how it worked before, and now I really have a firm grasp on how to do it. And, like, that's the stuff I love doing. I love it when you guys have comments like that, where it's like, okay, this video is actually useful for somebody. It's actually helpful for them to see what I'm doing and the rotation and to knock it all out for you. So I think that that's the kind of channel that this can become, a place, like a home for all of you guys to come and have multiple different specs and builds and ideas going around, and that I can be the person that provides you with the information that you need to really start diving deep into whatever spec you want. I'm not going to be the best at it. I'm not going to be the master, but I'm going to be the guy that gets you in the door and helps you to understand some of the nuances about the spec so that you can start to min-max it on your own and start to get really, really good at it. So that's my plan, guys, for the future. That's what I'm planning on doing. I've kind of wrestled with this for a long time, and I think this is just who I am deep down, and this is where I'm going to go with the channel. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I really want to hear from you on this topic in particular. Let me know what you think about the future of the channel. Are you excited as I am about doing this? Because I am really excited about it, so I'd love to hear from you in those comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.